afternoon now. So this visit brings me to produce a few statistics to you. I don't want to bore you with stats, but some of these stats are quite positive in our world. So the Mid-South Canterbury is a district on its own, while we operate within that district as Mid-Canterbury. The burglary statistics around New Zealand have been going up for the last 2 or 3 years. There's a number of reasons for that. Obviously there's a lot of criminals out there committing burglaries, but the other reason is the way we police report burglaries and the definition of a burglary. So while we sit and talk about a burglary of our house, we think our house has been broken into and someone's gained entry and stolen the TV and then left. Burglary in today's world is entering a property, going into an open shed like we have on our farms and removing a quad bike. So in the old days that was classed as a theft, in today's world it's a burglary. So that is not an excuse for some of our stats, but it is just explaining why our stats for a couple of years there had a spike. Here in Mid-South we have a 22% decrease for the same period 12 months ago in our burglary statistics. So that's really, really good. I can't break them down unfortunately to Mid-Canterbury alone, or Ashburton or Rakaia or Methven, but I can assure you they are around about the same. So that 22% decrease in Mid-South Canterbury is a good result. The other thing that was hot on the topic when I first came here 3 years ago was public place disorder and assaults. There's been a lot of work done with council and with Safer Ashburton and other organisations. And as a result of that, our public place assaults have decreased here in Mid-Canterbury, or Ashburton I should say, 23%. So again, that's a good result. There are still some issues late at night, as we all know, and some of the councillors here are on committee meetings that I go to. But it is a positive result. There's still some work to do. Assaults in the dwelling, which is house dwellings, so that can be taken into common assaults plus family violence type assaults. They are also down some 31%. So while we are seeing a spike in reported family violence incidents, the actual assault rate is down some 31%. So again, another very positive stat. The road toll for Mid-South Canterbury, this time last year was 5. It is now 14, so it's nearly 3 times the rate for Mid-South Canterbury, which is really high. For Mid-Canterbury, last year this time was 5, and this year we're sitting on 3. So we're fortunate. I'd love to say the police have done a lot of work around it, but there's been a lot of luck, a lot of education with people, and people taking responsibility for their own driving. So while as a district of Mid-South we have some work to do around our road toll, and it has been addressed, here in Mid-Canterbury we are pretty good. Sadly, some of the deaths that occurred in that area have been significantly contributed to by the driver of the vehicle, the deceased themselves, i.e. too much alcohol, too fast. Calls for service. So calls for service is everything: reporting crime, suspicious behaviour, driving complaints, things like that, is just under 1,700 for Mid-Canterbury. So that's quite high. Having said that, it is down 3% of what it was last year. So 1,700 calls for service, and I have 34 positions in Mid-Canterbury to cover that 1,700 calls for service. So my staff are busy. They're stretched from the mountains to the sea, and from Rakaia to Tamuka. Overall crime. So overall crime in Ashburton, so everything in total, is down 11%. Methven is down 27%, and Rakaia it is down 4%. So while we have had some high-profile incidents and events happening here in Ashburton, in Methven and in Rakaia, overall, Mid-Canterbury is still a safe place to be, compared with other similar-sized towns in our country. Staffing. So the Mayor and I have had many discussions about staffing, police staffing. So when the government announced they were going to provide extra police, we were hoping that we were going to get extra staff. So what we have done here in Mid-Canterbury is we have reshuffled. The Canterbury district has had a restructure, but also Canterbury as a district is getting extra staff. Mid-Canterbury, Ashburton, we've got an extra 3 positions. of which I've already got one. So I'm allowed to advertise in the coming months for another sergeant and a permanent family violence coordinator. Other districts within Canterbury are getting more staff because of the need. So our positions are full at the moment for our required numbers. We are probably better off today than we have been for a good couple of years, but I still believe that we are some staff short in this district if they really want the result. I've made that message clear to my bosses, and I've had some mixed reactions to that, as you can imagine. So hopefully with the support of Donna and the Council, from time to time when we keep pushing for an increase in our numbers, that we'll get that support. I do believe that Mid-Canterbury is a good size for a good project in police and policing and how we police, and we can make a real difference here. So as I've just said, I didn't want to confuse you with all the stats, but with the numbers that we do have, we are actually going in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Snr Sergeant Banfield. I will open the floor for questions. And Councillor Wilson is first to his light.
Thank you. Welcome, Sergeant. Snr Sergeant. What about the hidden crimes, family violence, child abuse in Ashburton? I believe it's a lot more prevalent than we actually realise. We see the paper about the burglaries and things like that, and we think that's the crime that's in Ashburton, but there is a hidden crime, is there not?
Hidden crime? Okay, so family violence, here in Mid-Canterbury, we're getting 460 reported to us every year. So that's, to be honest, 1.2 per day. Now, out of that 1.2 per day, which is about 7 or 8 a week, we're only getting 1, maybe 2, where there is an assault taking place. So when family violence is, or family harm is reported to the police, it could be anything of a couple arguing over too much spent on the credit card, or any sort of reason for an argument, to what we consider to be a real family harm incident, where someone's at risk of being hurt. So we are, again, fortunate that there is a reduced number of people that are actually at risk of real assault within our district. To answer the rest of your question, there is still a lot that goes unreported. And the police and other organisations cannot help unless people tell us what's going on. So you could use the word hidden, yes. Child abuse, my CIB team, when I first came here there was 3 of them. I now have a detective sergeant and 5 who are working full-time CIB, and they are busy every day with child abuse matters for this district. So in the past there was 1, maybe 2 detectives that were assigned the portfolio of child abuse. And bear in mind, child abuse is everything from a physical assault to a sexual nature. But now it would be fair to say that out of the 5 staff, there will be 4 working on the child abuse portfolio and 1 covering the normal crimes. So yes, that's a hidden crime as well. But people are coming to the police reporting these incidents of concern.
Is it coming from schools or neighbours, or how do the police usually find out?
So hospitals, doctors, schools, other organisations that are working with families for whatever reason who observe things. There's a lot of systems in place now where other organisations can have an input rather than the years gone by they were simply waited for someone to make a complaint and the police would act. So whatever organisation is in there makes an observation, they can inform and advise Rangatamariki, which is SIFs, and all the police. So there's many, many ways for that notification to come through to the right agencies. And often it's not just about the police getting the bad guy and locking them up. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in the background, and that's a lot more involved than just the police turning the key on an offender.
And Snr Sergeant, that gets back to the message on the side of your cars, doesn't it? Safer communities
Safer
together,
communities
and it
together,
takes
yeah.
the whole community to do that. Councillor Price.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, could I ask Scott, I seem to recall around the time that staffing increases were announced, that the rhetoric around it coming from politicians in Wellington was that all police were going to turn out to every burglary that existed. With your current staffing, are you able to do that? Is that realistic?
Okay, to be honest with you, when that was first coming out of Wellington, there was a lot of us operational staff that said, how are we going to manage that? But again, in a smaller area such as we are here, we don't get a lot of burglaries compared with our metro cousins who may have 100 or so a week. We end up having 3 or 4 a week, and with the staffing that I have, hand on heart, we get to 99% of those within 48 hours. Some of my metro cousins would be far than that.
And we have a member of the Safer Ashburton Board, an independent member, Councillor Ellis is the next question.
Thank you, and welcome, Scott. Do you get the suicide statistics as well, and how are they trending in our district, if you do get them?
I don't get the statistics.
Right.
That is a topic that we have as seniors and inspectors we talk about a lot. It seems to be a hidden statistic. We talk about our road toll, we talk about drug-related deaths. I don't think as a community we talk enough and strong enough about suicide. I'm aware that there is some 600 nationally, so that's higher than our road toll, 2 times higher than our road toll. And we tend to, as a community, sweep it under the carpet and hope it doesn't happen to their family. While I understand that, we can save a lot of people's lives, and maybe the police is not the organisation for that, but yeah, we do attend the sudden deaths, and that is our role in that sort of environment.
So, Senior Sergeant, prior to your arrival today, we had a vote and we appointed a new elected member back onto the Safer Ashburton Committee, and that person is Councillor Liz McMillan.
Well done, Liz.
Okay. Through the Mayor, P, and the mean, how big a problem is that? Yes, I keep hearing that it is a huge problem. You don't hear about it, you don't see it. Is it coming through?
Some of the positives have been in a small town, there have been good things happen, it happens really quickly. Some of the negative things in a small town, when bad things happen, it happens quickly. So methamphetamine is easier to get than cannabis. We have had a lot of success with our drug warrants, and supported by our targeting teams from town coming here and executing warrants and making arrests. And a lot of our drug dealers have been put away. When I first came here, we put quite a few away, but they only got 2 or 3 years as their terms of imprisonment, and of course they've been back out, and sadly a lot of them haven't been rehabilitated, and they're back into their own business, so we're back into targeting them again. So we get a lot of information. In fact, it's fair to say we get a significant amount of information about drug supply in this area and drug dealing and how easy it is to get, and we spend a lot of time and effort working around those people.
Councillor Rawlinson.
Thank you for your report. I just wanted to ask about the little groups of youth offenders that we had. It's a 2-part question. Are you starting to win the battle? And the second part of my question was, I see in the media the other day that 3 have been supposedly rehabilitated back into our community. So how do you think that will go?
Some of the youths that we were involved with no longer reside here, and there was many other organisations that were involved in dealing with that problem. So while the police were the first port of call because they've committed an offence, like a burglary or stolen a car, and the police get there, because they're youths, the youth courts, they demand that we look at a lot of different alternative resolutions and options. So our Senior Constable Rob Hooper here, most of you know, is a youth aid officer. He's been here for many years. He's very experienced. He's spent a considerable amount of time pushing these youths away from the justice side of things to try to get them into, the boxing academy, and there's many other things, some sort of programs. Some of them have taken it on board, and some are doing well. And sadly, there are some that, dare I say it, they are just simply going to go from a youth prison to an adult prison, and that's the truth. But, we say 1 or 2, then that's a success, isn't it? The offending rate has gone right down for our youth. There's been a lot of pressure on those families from the police and other organisations, and we are doing our best to hold them accountable. We also have our hands tied a lot when we're dealing with youth offenders because of the legislation that's in place.
Councillor Lovett.
Those youths that have gone out of the district, are they still under care through these organisations, or are they just gone up there and just...
Yeah, no, we don't just cut and loose, you
No,
know.
absolutely.
So that's the advantage of having, you know, a national police force and not only Tumbricky's up north, and there's lots of other organisations as well. So when they go from here, the first thing we do is we let our cousins know in the areas that they've gone back to that A, there's going to be a problem for you, or A, there was a problem here and they're on the right track and this is what you need to keep doing. So there's lots of work from other organisations and the police doing that. But it really does still come up to the family and the individual. If they want the help, it's there for them. But we have to nudge all of those people, unfortunately.
Supplementary to that, Senior Sergeant, you alluded before that there had been a reshuffle of staffing, and youth crime and Rob Hoover is an area that a while ago was reviewed. And am I correct that there was talk of reducing Rob's role or removing it? And you just maybe want to share that with the councillors?
Yep, well, first of all, in Ashburton, we've only got one Rob Hoover, senior constable there, and when they were going to reduce it, it was basically taken away. So there was a lot of typing, a lot of business plans, a lot of talking, support from Mr Gaston, my area commander in Timaru. We just couldn't afford to lose a youth aid officer in a small town. His work is pivotal, as simple as that. So that was a win for us to hold on to that position. We did lose one of our school officers. Pup Chamberlain retired, that position wasn't covered, so we're down to one. And I don't know how that's going to go in the future either, but certainly a youth aid officer is certainly vital for a policing team, any policing team.
And just in regards to dealing with youth, I'm hearing from the community that police have now made a presence at Ashburton College, and I'm wondering if you could just share that program with the rest of the councillors as well.
Yeah, a few months back there was some social media footage, which actually the police weren't actually aware of until we saw it on YouTube and things like that, where there'd been some bullying. There was some quite vicious assaults going on, and some of my staff, before I even put the tasking out, were at their own hats, decided, look, lunchtimes when the kids are out and about, we'll make sure we go down there for 15 minutes and wander around, talk to, be seen. You know, the first few times they went there, they thought people were in trouble because they hadn't seen the police there for ever, in that capacity. But after a while, it ended up being all right, and they were talking to the police, and there's a bit of engagement and a good relationship. So they're not there every day, absolutely not there every day, but certainly, you know, they're there when they can be, and it's just having that presence.
Thank you very much. Are there any additional questions? Then thank you very much for your presentation, Senior Sergeant, and we do welcome you to stay and join us for a cup of tea shortly.
I will. Thank you.
Very much.